Is it possible to live a modest but happy life? Greed is one of the greatest diseases of our time. It arises from inner emptiness. Like an addict, people chase from one desire to the next, never satisfied, never fulfilled. Capitalism thrives on this emptiness. It feeds it, and sells us the illusion that we can fill it through consumption. With sophisticated marketing, it strikes us at our core. But, a fulfilled desire immediately gives birth to the next. An endless merry-go-round that we can get off. In many Asian cultures, illness is seen as an expression of imbalance, of disharmony on a physical, mental or spiritual level. Harmony is not only an ideal there, but a prerequisite for health on all levels. A central disruptive factor in this harmony can be greed. It has the potential to derail people internally. It is often closely linked to addiction or obsession. Be it for possessions, power, money, information, constant consumption, spiritual egoism, etc. Spiritual greed could be when I focus too much on myself and my salvation, when I am too preoccupied with rituals or religious practices. And in doing so, I fail to live my life plan or my mission. Greed centers life on a single pursuit and causes everything else to fade away. Human relationships, love, compassion, inner peace, they are pushed aside. When a single issue dominates everything else, the heart loses its place. But healing begins when we learn to find balance again, when I become humble and can hear the quiet voices within me once more. And when I remember what really matters and makes me content and grateful. If we don't start to transform this evil within ourselves, how can it be transformed on a larger scale? Because that is where a great deal of suffering arises, for example through wars. Greed causes suffering. This central teaching of Buddhism and also of Christianity contains a profound truth. It leads to separation from the source. We are on the wrong path, and this means sin. If we overcome greed, do we also overcome suffering? And thereby reduce suffering in the world? The burden of excess. A generously built house can become a burden. For years, we are enslaved by mortgage payments and interest. In the Netherlands, people live in smaller houses and seem to be happier than we are in Germany. That was my impression. Surveys also confirm that the greatest satisfaction is often found in the lower middle class. A study from the 1970s was repeated 50 years later. Material possessions had increased significantly, but satisfaction had declined. That speaks for itself. Possessions are a deceptive friend. Possessions are a burden because I have to take care of them and maintain them. Bandana Shiva once said, "There is incredible freedom in modesty." I can only confirm that. Gratitude for modest roots. Our parents, shaped by war and deprivation, lived frugally, out of necessity, but also out of insight. They passed on to us a culture in which things were valued. Repair instead of throwing away. Used instead of new. I am grateful for that. Money was never an issue in my family. There was always enough, but never in excess. I had to fight for a lot of things myself. That taught me thriftiness, gratitude and respect for the value of money and things. What really fulfills? The greatest joys in life don't cost any money. Relationships, friendship, family, children's laughter. A walk in the woods. Music, literature. A sunset. A good conversation. Creating something with your own hands. Spirituality. Silence. Gratitude. The fine arts. All of these things are free and available to everyone. And they set us free. Withdrawal is resistance. In silence, an immune system against manipulation grows. When we withdraw from the noise of the world, we can rediscover true joys. We can rediscover vitality, peace and ourselves. When we look at the great spiritual masters of history, we see that most of them lived very modestly. Jesus also lived extremely modestly, yet he was infinitely rich within. Biblical foundations. The Bible, especially the words of Jesus, contains many statements that emphasize a modest, simple life. Matthew 6:19 de la mañana -21 Do not store up treasures on earth, where moths and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up treasures in heaven. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Matthew 6:24 de la mañana No one can serve two masters. You cannot serve God and mammon. Luke 12:15 del día For a man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. Luke 6:22 de la tarde Sell everything you have and give it to the poor, then come and follow me. Comillas sencillas. Flecha apuntando hacia la derecha Here, Jesus demands a radical detachment from possessions that could endanger the person and his family. It would be more accurate to say. Gospel of the Holy 12, chapter 43, Jesus said, If you want to be perfect, go, sell what you have in excess and give it to those who have nothing, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come and follow me. Timothy 6:6-8 But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. Luke 12:16 del día -21 Jesus said, Our rich man had a large harvest. He thought to himself, He will tear down my barns and build bigger ones. And then I will say to myself, You have plenty of goods laid up for many years. Take your rest, eat, drink and be merry. But God said to him, You fool! This very night your soul will be required of you. Then who will get what you have accumulated? Comillas. This is how it will be with anyone who stores up treasures for themselves but is not rich in the sight of God. Proverbs 3:16 de la tarde. Better a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure with turmoil. The Apocryphal Writings. Gospel of Thomas Logian 110. Jesus said, Whoever finds the world and becomes rich will renounce the world. Logian 27 Unless you become like little children, you will not see the kingdom of God. Become like little children means letting go of greed, possessions, and ego. Only those who are empty can receive. Gospel of the Holy 12, chapter 33:7. Do not store up riches on earth, where moths and rust destroy, but seek the true treasures of the Spirit. For many rich will be poor, and many poor will be rich in the kingdom of heaven. Chapter 37:2. Who loves possessions has lost his way. He who calls the earth his own has lost the light. Chapter 38:1. And Jesus said, He who does not renounce all that he has cannot be my disciple. Truly, the Spirit blows in simplicity. Pistis Sophia Book 2, chapter 88. Be not inclined towards the world, nor towards that which is in it. Seek not power, nor glory, but light in humility and simplicity.